In 1963, Alabama Governor George Wallace stood in the doorway of Foster Auditorium at the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa in an attempt to prevent the integration of the nation's last all-white state university. Eventually, President Kennedy forced Governor Wallace to step aside, allowing James Hood and Vivian Malone to be the first black students enrolled at UA. But was this really the end of segregation in Tuscaloosa? After a federal desegregation order expired in 2003, the Tuscaloosa City Schools split up Central High School into 3 neighborhood high schools. Central became 99% black, and 2 new high schools were created, Bryant and Northridge. I graduated from Northridge High School in 2007, but in a school that was around 60% black, I realized that nearly all of my close friends were white, which begs the question, is segregation really dead? Or was George Wallace right when he said, segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever?
I'm always on the run. Sally told the policeman exactly what I done. I went and got my shotgun, I went and got my blade. Killed poor Sally's lover, I put him in the grave.
Yeah, I've got a few. I've got a few close black friends.
In high school, I didn't necessarily have a lot of black friends, but I had a lot of black friends that, or I guess I would consider them friends that
yeah, I do, but probably not as many as I do white friends.
I really don't know what happened. We just all kind of separated or whatever, and I exclusively started hanging out with black people. I made like a complete new group of friends. Like no one was the same.
As far as getting along, our students appear to get along very well.
I think we're fairly integrated, and I take pride in the fact that we have a lot of cultures, but I have heard students say that there's a lot of segregation in the lunchroom, but I have witnessed friendships between the races.
We do have educational apartheid in the United States of America, and there are books on this. So you can't say I'm just making stuff up. They can go and research that too, or they could, pick up one of my books.
Do these children go to parties together on the weekends? I don't know. I can't answer that question. I think that most social organizations such as Civinettes, Vista, are integrated to some level.
I really only had one black friend really that I even saw, maybe 2 or 3 that I saw outside of school, but for the most part I didn't see a lot of the black kids I saw at high school, outside of school.
I think the problem with having racial segregation, whether it's residential or in the school, is that usually if you don't encounter difference, if you don't encounter people that are different from you, you can't learn about your own privilege.
People always say, that, when you have mixed kids, they don't fit in with black people, they don't fit in with white people, they don't belong anywhere. And my whole life I kind of grew up like, I never had that problem, but the truth is that, for the most part, people become friends with people that they relate to.
Different groups, for whatever reason, gravitate towards certain people. But if you do go to a predominantly, African-American institution, and the majority of your friends are white, European-American, I don't necessarily know what that says.
Like I said, it just really just kind of happened, and it wasn't the intention. We just didn't hang out anymore. Separated.
But I definitely knew other white people that were okay and had black friends too. But I think, it's just based on, like I said earlier, personal experiences and how you were raised and how you grew up.
Let's see, when my parents first got married, actually my dad's whole side of the family didn't talk to him or my mom for like the first 3 years of their marriage. A matter of fact, when my parents got married, my dad's uncle was actually still in the KKK.
See, what I'm saying is that human beings are fundamentally redeemable. Human beings, we don't come into the world predestined to be perfect little sexist pigs. We don't come into the world predestined to be racist, homophobes, and so on. We're taught that.
Me and my brother, when we were younger, we'd walk around his house and you could still see stuff from like back in the day, but he's really cool now. Matter of fact, now he owns a hot sauce company, and so we always kind of give him hell about that because it's kind of ironic.
There are some people that have experiences with a more white society and a white culture than they do with a black culture. and that could depend on what part of town you live at.
We all know that if we go to a new Sunday school class, that the next Sunday we're going to go straight back to that seat that we sat in the first time. We're going to go right back there and find that seat. So the first day of school, these students sit with students they're comfortable with.
You don't base who you are on your choice. You know, you base your choice on who you are. So it's not like I said, well, I'm going to be white, and then chose to listen to rock music and skateboard and play guitar and do all, you know, do everything that all my white friends did, you know. But I got into rock music, skateboard, played guitar, did all that, and said, well, I guess that makes me white. But you know, that's such, like, even saying it now, just for the sake of this interview, sounds retarded. Like, I don't consider myself white, but I mean, look at me. You know, it's I don't know. But yeah, you have to choose. You have to choose.
It was more of a, it was just a self-social segregation, not, and it wasn't intentional by any means, of course, but it was something where, you know, the basketball team was going to hang out with the basketball team, and
Children are comfortable sitting with the students that they go to church with, live in the same community with, then I don't think necessarily that's a conscious decision to separate themselves from students of other races.
Well, it's weird because I know people who were really close with a black student when they were younger, but now not so much, so I don't know if it's a high school thing or anything, but I just feel like it's something that happens.